Heads up here guys, this episode covers a story told over thousands of miles through 6 months of time and reveals some of the greatest challenges we've ever faced. You might want to buckle up for this one, it's a heck of a ride. Previously on Hasta, Alaska, we finally made it to the state of Alaska after 3.5 years of driving north, only to have our Kombi fail on us just 1,000 miles short of the finishing line at the Arctic Ocean. We had to abandon our Kombi in Haines, Alaska and hitched a ride on the only vehicle that we could find, a 45-foot sailboat which was headed south to escape the harsh northern winter. After 2 months aboard as first-time crew members, Leah and Alaska the dog relocated to Canada, whilst I headed back to my home island of Jersey in Europe to face what I'm about to find out is literally a show-stopping disaster. First up, you might be wondering what I'm even doing in Europe. After all, this whole problem started when our transmission failed in the Kombi, which is in Alaska. So shouldn't I be resolving that problem? Well.
Hi! How many in there?
There's 4. Touch and go whether we actually got into the States there. I knew it was going to be complicated because I've entered on a visa waiver program a few times. And he really didn't want to let me in. So at this moment, even if I could miraculously find a replacement transmission, which I can't, I wouldn't be allowed back into Alaska without first leaving North America, thus the long overdue visit to my family in Europe.
Come on, Mum, I'll race you. I'll race you.
At this point, I've been travelling the world for the past 7 years. The last time I was back in Jersey was for just a few days, and that was way back before I'd even bought the Kombi and began this mammoth Hasta Alaska expedition. Jersey Island is tiny, just 9 miles by 5 and nestles just off the northwest coast of France. Most Europeans don't even know that it exists. Its tiny size is a major factor of why I went travelling in the first place, but you know, it actually felt pretty good to be out exploring again on home soil. The whole time I was home, I never turned on the TV once. I was certainly a different person from the regular shaving, suit-wearing 9-to-5er that I had previously been, and it was nice to see a familiar landscape with new eyes. It was also great to see old friends and see how they had grown, and in many cases multiplied during my absence.
Hey Ben, so when are you gonna come get the Kombi?
Let me explain this visa situation to you.
Having a British passport, it means that I can basically get 90 days free without a visa in the States. The problem is when you're trying to drive an old Volkswagen across the country, 90 days isn't actually that long because things like transmissions blow and engines need rebuilding, and well, you know, you've been there. So I'm hoping to get a 6-month visa.
Unfortunately, my embassy is in London, and that is why I've come to London to sort this out.
That's Big Ben, Little Ben, Big Ben, Little Ben.
Of course, it was a huge inconvenience having to come all the way back to the UK, but a traveller's passport is sacred, and I wanted to comply with US immigration regulations and ensure that I had a sufficient visa for the amount of time that I needed to finish the project. I was nervous about the application, but with a 100% clean passport, I was confident. So the next day was a huge shock.
I literally cannot believe what has just happened. I'm in shock.
Just been to the US visa,
queued up for hours and hours and hours, paid like £200 for the privilege, plus hundreds of pounds to get here and spend the time in London. And they said no. They said, no, you can't have a visa. And not only that, we're gonna like take away your normal rights to a 3-month visa. So I don't even think I can go to the States now. The Kombis in Alaska, the family that are looking after the Kombi are moving out in about 2 months. Alaska's in Canada, Leah's up there, all of my stuff is there. And I've been trying to do this get to Alaska, explore Alaska thing for years, and they've taken that away from me.
We live in a place people around the world dream of visiting.
We sure do, but not everyone would go to the lengths that one man from the UK did to get here. Tonight, KTV 11's Daniela Rivera is here with his 4-year journey and the incredible challenges he faced along the way. Daniela.
That's right, Emily and James. Ben Jamin has been traveling the world for the last 7 years, but perhaps his biggest adventure yet started when he bought a Volkswagen bus in Chile and decided to drive it to Prudhoe Bay. While his adventure to the top of the world started thousands of miles ago, he tells me it's far from over.
They've actually denied me a visa, which means that I'm no longer allowed to visit America at all. I'm not allowed to go back and get my bus, which is waiting for me. And I'm not allowed to actually explore Alaska after 4 years of driving there, which is absolutely heartbreaking.
Ben Skyped with me from Jersey, an island off the coast of France, to share the news.
Because I've been away so long, they think that I've cut ties and I'm now a threat to US immigration, like I might try and actually live in the States.
Since he told his thousands of followers, he says they've started writing to their lawmakers and even sending him marriage proposals.
Women in Alaska and women in New Jersey, it's been quite comical, quite flattering at the same time.
Unfortunately, it's not that simple, and the end of his grand adventure, Hasta, Alaska, is uncertain. But there's one thing he knows for sure.
Alaska has been in the title of my show. It's the name of my dog, and it's been my mind for 4 years. You must get to Alaska. And so I just have to see it. I need to know what this is that's been pulling me there.
He can't give up on the last frontier. Ben shared his bus with more than 100 people along the way and has promised to give it away to one of his followers at the end of his journey. And as for his dog, Alaska, she's in Canada, waiting for the day they can finally explore the last frontier together. Emily?
Oh, poor puppy. Daniela, did the U.S. Embassy tell him how long he has to wait to reapply?
Well, there's no set time frame, but they say the longer the better. They want him to establish social and economic ties to his home, meaning get a job with a contract, go to school, or sign a lease and rent. Basically prove to them that he's invested in a life outside of the U.S. Now, he did tell me that in his 7 years of traveling, he's never overstayed a visa.
All right, thanks, Daniela. Following the rules, but still getting burned. What a bummer. Hope he makes it back.
Quite the story.
It was truly incredible that people I had never even met felt compelled to write to their senators and congressmen. Even the London US ambassador and governor of Alaska received countless messages from our supporters appealing on my behalf. But unfortunately there was no avenue of appeal, and the London US embassy would not review my second application for another 6 months, meaning I would miss the tight window to attempt for the Arctic and the expedition would be delayed for yet another year. As a perpetual traveller, being stranded at home is my idea of a nightmare. Still, there are worse places in the world to be stranded than on the island of Jersey. Personally, I find that dwelling on negative situations does nothing but drag me down, so I always try to find the silver lining. Being stuck in Jersey forced me to look deeper for new places to explore, and you'd be amazed what you can find hiding away on a tiny island.
It's unbelievable. Just like right behind the site, the whole time I've been here, just discovered it on my lunch break the other day. Now, to some of you, that might just look like a bunch of rocks. That is a dolmen, 6,000 years old. It's like the first settlements in Jersey. There's a bit of history.
We've had a lot of problems, but resolving this one was the most expensive of the trip. So I got a job with my old man as an electrician to generate funds for the Kombi rescue.
Is it the red wire or the blue wire? Oh, phew.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the planet, old Capito continued to brave the harsh Alaskan winter alone. By the way, ironically, Capito can be translated as snowflake in Spanish. 1,000 miles to the south in Vancouver, Leah and little Alaska were patiently waiting to get back on the road and were doing a little bonding in the meantime.
Espera, échate. Muy bien. See, Ben, she's still well trained. The rain has finally stopped, so we're doing Alaska's favourite pastime, which is squirrel chasing. It's been really, really shitty weather, so we haven't been doing much apart from getting out of the house as soon as the rain stops and doing some fun things for Alaska. Alaska's been trying to make friends with the locals. She's getting very dog friendly now. You got something to say, Alaska? I think she's saying she misses you. We all had itchy feet, and none of us wanted to get too settled into house life. With Ben's current visa saga, we had almost forgotten that we still needed to find a rare transmission for our broken down Kombi. But we searched everywhere and no replacement could be found. But just as we thought we'd exhausted the last option, one company proposed to have the answer.
Down in Los Angeles in California, an epic rescue strategy was initiated. This company, Rancho Transaxles, has been building the best and most reliable in performance transmissions for the past 30 years. We might not be able to find a new transmission, but they could build us a custom spec transaxle to not only match, but actually improve upon what we were currently running in the Kombi.
Hearing about our struggles, this guy Brett, who by the way is literally a professional problem solver by trade, reached out to us and offered to help us with some of the logistical challenges that we were facing.
Sky condition clear. Temperature 31 Celsius. Dew point -02 Celsius.
Brett flew in his 1963 Cessna 205 down from the Bay Area to LA to pick up the new transmission for us. A huge act of kindness considering we'd never met. But that was nothing compared to what he was about to do for us in the coming weeks.
So the Kombi rescue was already underway, but I still wasn't able to set foot on US soil to actually retrieve our wheels. There was no chance of me getting a second interview at my home embassy in time, and the prospects of a successful application outside of the UK was seriously slim and widely discouraged. Nonetheless, with zero other options, I decided to pack my bag and head back to North America regardless.
Touched down in Vancouver, Alaska and Leo here somewhere. So excited, so excited.
Hola, chica. Hola. Thanks, man. Thank you. That's so nice seeing.
I'm really sorry about that. I'm really sorry.
She was so excited, I wasn't expecting that reaction.
Glad I missed this dog.
It's so great to be back with my little travel family. It's been a really long winter, us being apart. It's been a really long process getting our Kombi back on the road, but we're getting there.
slowly. Thanks to Rancho, we've got a new custom-built transmission which is waiting for us to put back in the Kombi. And thanks to Brett for picking it up for us. Hopefully we'll get that soon somehow.
I can't believe that a part of our Kombi has been up in a plane flying around. Like, this Kombi rescue mission is epic already. We just have a small problem now of getting my US visa, which is why I'm here in Canada, apart from to see these two beautiful ladies. We're on our way to the US Embassy. Today is the day if we find out if there is a future of Hasta Alaska or if this is as far as we come. I'm pretty nervous about this. This is my documentation. I hold pack to prove that I won't be a burden on the US. We'll have to see what happens. Fingers crossed. Better practice the questions that they're going to be asking me. What are they going to ask?
Why do you want to go in there?
I've come to Alaska to repopulate the state because it's rather sparsely populated, and I'm bringing my high quality British seed.
High quality?
Yeah. Pretty cool. Definitely different to Jersey. Well, I'm going in, it's just here. Wish me luck. See you on the flip side.
This is so nerve-wracking. This has already been an hour since it's been in there. Didn't start off too well. We kind of got in trouble for filming around the embassy and we got footage deleted. So hopefully it's going well inside for him. What happened?
They took my passport off me.
What?
Yeah. They said I can't have it back until they've issued me a 10-year visa! Exactly! Yeah, that's it, Alaska. We're going to Alaska. Yeah, basically I got to the window and he's like, I know you. And he said, I've read all about your case. So thank you to everybody that shared the story and to all the people that have written into the embassy and petitioned on my behalf. Basically, because of all of that fuss that I kicked up and you guys helped me kick up that storm, that's why he heard about it and that's why it was like a no-brainer for him. First America and then the world.
It finally felt like everything was going to be okay and the worst was behind us. But just then we received word that 1,000 miles to the north, our Kombi had caught fire and our home was destroyed. We could not believe it, and honestly, with only a few months left before we give away this Kombi, we were asking ourselves, is it even worth us to still try for the Arctic? But Capito is the one that started all this, and I did promise him that I would take him to the Arctic. And after all, if there was ever a Volkswagen that deserved to be in the Hall of Fame, it was this one. Somehow we'd get ourselves to Alaska, and somehow we would find the strength to overcome yet another humongous challenge. But for that, you'll have to wait until next time.